Hello, this is Aurora, and we're we're announcing that the press conference has been delayed to the breaking of the virus. Please be patient while the press conference returns as normal. Thank you. Hello, and we're live
Uh,
from on the way to the hospital after a contagious disease got spread on the conference before the start of the
uh,
conference. We have
uh,
Tartan here also. Hi, Tartan.
hello. My name is Turton. So, while we wait for the hold on. Sorry, give me a moment. I'll just so while we wait for the press conference to start, let's talk about what happened to the press conference. As the live report shows, um, before just a few moments before the press conference were supposed to start. Just a few moments before the press conference start, pandemic happened within the press conference room, spreading the flu virus amongst across all players that was waiting for the press conference. This included the press advisor Barrington, as well as our staff here at TPA News, and so mostly the issue is I think resolved. There are players within the players that were affected, I think, has now been cured and now returning
I
back
mean, I do
maybe to
have
the
to
press
point out
conference
that
room.
our camera was cured, and the moment she got back to the conference room, she was infected again.
I see.
So there's possibly someone still infected in the room that didn't go away. You can see live now our camera being treated for the disease.
All right. So yeah, as Rory stated, every one of us here at TPA have been affected. We're currently at the hospital now waiting to.
I'm cutting to your feet, Tartan, just to show again it's still the hospital. Oh, I'm cutting the feet to your camera so people can see the hospital. I'm cutting back to our camera who's going back to the conference room. I don't know if Tartan saw it, but there's been accusation that Moon was the one spreading it, and now they don't want to allow it to enter the conference. So that's what we're seeing on the screen right now. Okay, Tartan is in position and our camera is also in position. So
Sorry, just to ask, my mic is still on, right?
yeah,
Oh, okay. So sorry about that. I am back now. So here's what happened. Um, the press conference is now starting after a disruption of the press conference again. Everyone was sick, but now everything has now gone back and everyone is well. Um, I think the press conference is now starting soon. I'm just gonna hand it to Aurora now for chat reading.
thank you, Tartan. The press advisor Jarrington starts. Welcome everyone to yet another and I believe final press conference of this administration. Let me first say a few words. It was tough. It was an experiment and it was a project. But with betrayal throughout. What started as events with chaos and mayhem are now events with no mayhem and in the future even less thanks to staff intervention and little chaos. Oh, Jordan clarified that this is not the last conference. By the way, please welcome the president of Commonwealth of Redmond, 1950 Minecrafter. As you can see, 1950 has a mask on because of the pandemic that started. We also had our also have someone asking our camera if they are sick. 1950 Minecrafter starts. So I had quite something written down to address in this press conference. While 1950 is writing, you can see him wearing a mask and Jarrington wearing an even bigger mask because of the just recently happening pandemic at the press conference. But to the recent events and for the safety of everyone in this room, I'm going to keep it short and quick. 1950 Minecrafter then continues. First of all, I want to address the obvious matter. Dear fellow citizens of Redmond, we currently are going through a pandemic, and from what I've been told, the DOH leadership and employees earlier today, there has been an increase in cases on common cold. Again, as you've probably seen on the pre-press conference, from what we cut out to our main feed and showed everyone what is happening. People are being rushed to the hospital, and the doctors were asking people to make a line because of so many people that were asking for treatment. 1950 Minecrafter then continues, and similar diseases and illness. It seems they come in waves and are fairly contagious. For now, the recommendation are to remain at home, avoiding going to the streets if it's not very important matter, wear a mask and keep a security distance with other people. I believe he said something more. "1950 Minecrafter" continues. Also, earlier today, I ordered the Secretary of Interior to deliver an urgent supply of treatments for this disease, to make sure our hospitals and clinics are properly supplied and don't run out of treatments. We are going to keep working on address this matter and we'll be keeping you all informed of any updates. We don't know when the next wave might surge, but we must keep calm. Sorry, I lost where I was reading. Going back to where 1950 was saying, we must keep calm and do not panic. We just have to be a bit more careful than usual for some time. "1950 Minecrafter then continues. Anyway, having informed you of the pandemic situation, let me mention a couple of matters too now, and we'll move on to the questions. "1950 Minecrafter continues. The Oak Ridge mayoral elections ended up this week with Rory winning the mayorship. Congrats for that. Following the results, we scheduled a meeting with both town mayors and we had a productive meeting. As you might remember, the Oak Ridge election happened, I believe, 2 days ago, and Rory was the winner by 4 votes. I might need to double check that, but I believe it was a really close result. The Oak Ridge election was a very, let's say, intense one, as there was even accusations of, as there were even attempts of people trying to buy votes for some party or another. But at the end, the results came clear, and Rory, with Juno being deputy mayor, 1950 Minecrafter continues. In the financial side, Horizon Bank collapsed last week, and the DLC had to step in to pay out depositors. If you're one of them, open a DLC ticket so they can help you. Hi, sorry, Tartan was muted, but he just announced that everyone's sick again. I was watching his chat, and yeah, he got sick, and I believe our camera also got it too. Yeah, there you go.
I think there's a doctor on scene who's currently who's currently handing out cures, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but we'll see for now. There are still people. Okay, so the president has just urged everyone to rush to the hospitals. I think we're gonna go for the hospital for now. I'm gonna order. Can we switch off the cameras for now and switch to a scene, to another scene? Maybe this starting soon, or like the technical inconvenience screen.
Hi, this is Aurora coming. There is probably been a delay on the press conference, seeing as some people are urging others to just go straight to another town and not go past Spawn. The disease has probably been so spreading so hard that people are rushing others to just not go to any populous areas.
Oh, hello. So my name, I'm Jordan from TPA News. So here is what happens from the on here's what happened at the press conference. Everyone got sick again. That's the gist of it. While the President 1950 was discussing about the recent closing of Horizon Bank, everyone got infected with the common flu again. Um, we're currently writing up the report, but everyone after that, everyone rushed to the hospital seeking treatment. Again, long lines. Sorry about that. Hold on, give me a moment. But what happened was everyone is now rushing to the hospital, rushed to the hospital to get treatment, and after that, um, we're not sure. Everything has happened more like, sorry about that. Everything has just been a mess as of this moment. There is no official, as far as we're concerned, there is no official status on the press conference right now. The press advisor joined on has now decided to um, answer questions for the press in a different on an undisclosed location. So we'll be asking questions to the press advisor shortly. Uh, but yeah. So, here for we have here right now is the press advisor. John will be asking a few questions. First thing we're gonna ask to the press advisor, is this is a bit of an outdated question. I was supposed to ask this at the press conference before everyone got sick. But the question was, while the physical security at the press conference appears to be adequate, is there any contingency plan? So, while the question is quite a bit outdated, I think the press advisor will get the gist of it. Um, we'll ask the next question shortly as he responds. Uh, mhm, mhm. You could read it now, Rora.
This is
Response from
Aurora,
the press
and
advisor.
I'll be reading the response from the press advisor. So the entire situation was unexpected. The Department of Health is doing its best to resolve the pandemic issue. The administration will do what it can to protect the citizens, and we are working on containing as well as defeating the pandemic as we speak.
Um, uh, I've also asked the press advisor of that will a stay-at-home order be issued soon? Or- and lastly, my question for the press advisor is that will there be a vaccine to be issued soon after this, and maybe a potential fix to to the contagion on the way contagions work between players? Will that happen?
Jarton replied to the question saying, I'll answer two questions with this answer. Yesterday, at the cabinet meeting, the issue of paying department staff was raised. While currently we have had enough doctors to deal with 3 outbreaks, we lack doctors in general. We hope to change that.
I think that will be our questions for the press advisor for now. Um, we'll talk about this more on our articles, but I think that's it for the press advisor for now. Thank you, press advisor, for coming here in our little temporary set here in a secret location. Thank you so much. Sorry. He also added another quote. Sorry.
I'll be reading this, thank you. When it comes to the vaccine, the order to stay at home, I lack information to respond. However, the president will address the nation soon, and I believe he will answer these last questions. Thank you for the opportunity.
So uh, yep. So the press advisor is now left. He is now off to a another location. Will not. I think let's not disclose where he's going to, just for the sake of their safety and the safety of the administration. But let's, Aurora, let's talk about what happened. Everything has just been a mess, right? From before it started to the from the press conferences start until the end, everything has just been a mess, right?
Yes, of course. Oh, I got a mask from our camera. Thank you. I wasn't logged in, so I didn't had one. But yes, it was such a mess. It was amazing what happened. I mean, I saw it live, our camera being infected and just spreading along on each one for in the conference room.
But it is kind of scary on the way that diseases are currently transmitted. It's so quick. It spreads quick. It spreads so far and wide, and as it is very concerning, as this press advisor raised on our questions, there are the administration, the Department of Health lack doctors in general, and so that I think the health system definitely has the chance to be overwhelmed, especially if this continues on. Um, I'm
With
I'm not sure about the status of the current on hospitals as of this moment, but if this continues, we're not only going to have burnt out. I think we may not also have burnt out doctors, but also resources. Um, I'm not sure, but yeah, this we're every time there's a new wave of pandemic, there will continue to consume more resources. And from in my opinion, I think we may have, if this again continues for a long time, we might reach to a point that we might not have doctors to treat patients, but we might also not have the cures or ailments for the flu.
yeah, again, as Jarrington said, we have gone through 3 pandemics already, but it's still a scary issue seeing how the DOH is understaffed and it has been going through difficulties. Has been a few weeks so far. I believe Tartan can help me there, but I don't think 1950 have chosen a definitive health secretary. I think it's still on the temporary appointment.
Oh yeah. So we do not have an appointed health secretary for now. We do have acting health secretaries, but again, uh, the president has still not announced his pick for the for health secretary. This is which is also a good point raised by Laura. This is also not helping to the situation because again,
I mean, as
um,
sorry to cut you, but as a proof of how understaffed the DOH is, our camera pointed out our that our treatment was made by a trainee doctor. There wasn't any doctors online. to help treat us.
Mhm, mhm. Um, I think there are more doctors that's yeah, there are more doctors coming online, but yeah, it is the concern of understaffing really is gonna show with this epidemic. Do you have any do you have any things that we could talk about with this epidemic?
I mean, I believe this was really a test for everyone at the press conference. And I do have to congratulate us at TPA for going through the entire streaming and showing each step of this, let's say, crisis on the press conference, which
It,
went
it
one day without any crisis whatsoever last week. And then we got back to crisis.
It is definitely been a mess here at TPA News. We may apologize because we might be on and off, or like the flow of our streams might not be as consistent as everyone might hope. But it has been chaos, and it has been chaos in the press conference, and I think in the server in general. So, how do I say this? TPA News has also been sent to overdrive uh, while the pandemic is going on. Almost all of our editors, all of our writers, almost everyone here at the digital news gathering division is here reporting about this incident, this pandemic and press conference from the writers. From the journalists who are checking and writing the articles, from every one of you guys at the department, from the DNG. Thank you guys. It is even though it's again it has been chaos. Yeah we've kind of pulled ourselves together. Um, uh, just a just a follow up. More news will be updated on our live report, which kind of have converted from the press. Here's the update from the press conference to hello, this is the third wave of the pandemic, if you get what I mean. But yeah, yeah,
Well, this has been an unique experience, I believe, for everyone at the press conference. And
it is. It is.
yeah, Tartan, do you want to add something else?
No, I think that's all for me. I think that's all for me now. I think we should like call it off, and yeah, there are a lot more to do. So I think that's all. Do you have anything else to add? Sorry, I'm like just like giving the ball back to you.
No, no, it's okay. I'm just asking and saying that I believe this has been TP News reporting on the pandemic crisis slash press conference.
My name is Sturton, and this is I think yeah.
See you guys at
Uh,
a later point.
see you guys. Yeah, see you guys soon. Maybe at the next press conference. Maybe next time. Again, see you. Goodbye.
Bye.